We have a volunteer.
It's gonna rain.
And we are go.
Thanks, Ollie.
Hello, world.
Hello, interwebs.
Oh.
Hi, universe.
So, we are back for another thrilling adventure of the Four Souls, the Lost Tower.
Great
Our
start.
daring protagonists have freed a young uh former assassin rogue, and they had a plan.
Yes. All right. So quick recap of last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever the last time we played was.
I believe it was.
I joined the party. Aga. And came in the midst of a bunch of hustle and bustle with town guards and the like. I wooed our new lady friend out of a closet by building trust, and now we are going to try and free her. We did free her from the. Was it a scrying spell?
Yeah, she had some sort of permanent. What you were able to figure out that it was a form of scrying.
Right. So we freed her of that. She told us how to do the do in order to infiltrate these group of peoples.
Yes,
And
she had given you a
Map.
map.
oh yeah, the map. On how to infiltrate, and now we are trying to figure out the best way to infiltrate this group of assassin peoples. How'd I do?
Good. There had been some questions about some of the stuff on the map. Um, in that she doesn't seem to be able to write words, so she used little symbols to explain things. She said that on
There's the guy that randomly makes tea for everybody.
yes, there's a guy that makes tea that is very creepy.
And
She's
smells bad, right?
she
Didn't he smell bad?
she said like the whole like room that he stays in, like he doesn't leave it ever, and like there is like odd smells coming from there, but he does tend to try to offer tea to people that come around. She doesn't really like he unsettles her, so she never had tea with him. She never like really goes in that direction very much.
You know why the tea smells bad? Because it's that oolong tea.
But don't.
So punny.
That was a dad joke if I've ever told one.
There
Which would make
are
sense.
apparently children living off to the west that they're not directly involved with them, which she finds really weird because usually they try to get people as children like they had done with her and train them since they're little. But for some reason, they're there. They're not being forced to leave. They're not being forced to join. They're just sort of there. She doesn't really know why. She said that a lot of the times that she only really knows what like her group like whatever quest or mission that they're given, that's pretty much all she knows. They're all in sections in the groups, and each group has their own thing that they're doing, and they don't interact. They don't let others know what they're doing. It's a way to keep like the least people that know something the better.
Right.
So they keep things very secret even from themselves. So she doesn't really understand why that is happening. Other little swirly symbols are like drains, big drains that are because it is a sewer. There's some water down there, and that's where it's draining it towards the ocean from. And
Okay.
that the the thick line was her way of showing like the easiest way to go, and then there are little like cut off little marks that she put to say that there are blocked off walls, because rather than post people or have like waste manpower by like posting like guards everywhere, they walled off areas. They just left like
Right.
tiny areas where like water can still move, like a couple inches high, not enough so that a person could wiggle through, but they walled off sections just to keep people like confuse people and get them lost or just not let them through at all.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Did she tell us where this like the entranceway that she has indicated is? Like
Yes,
in
it
the city?
is in the Midnight District underneath. There so she did give you street names and like um more like less street names and more like you're looking for this shop, like locations to look for.
Right.
Yeah,
Landmarks.
that's the word.
Okay.
Cool, cool, cool.
All right.
Go ahead.
Nope. I was just confirming the stuffs.
I'm gonna ask her. So, do you say that's the rank above the Badger is the Raven, correct?
Yes, it's bronze.
It's made out of bronze.
Uh,
That's the color, like copper.
Oh
All
no,
right.
she's getting confused.
That
Do
kind
you
of color,
know?
like copper coins.
Hmm,
They look to her bronze and copper look the same.
I think to most people they do.
She doesn't know. She doesn't
fair
know
enough.
metals. But
Okay.
What about? Do you know what the rank is above the Raven?
no, not officially.
Just that there is one.
Unofficially.
Marcus is probably something higher, but I don't know what it is.
Marcus.
No, he's the guy that she had mentioned last time.
Okay.
Who likes
I,
elves?
oh yeah, the creepy dude.
What did I put for him? He's looking for a key. Gives out orders. Human, big, round, sweaty, gross. Really likes elves. Lewd.
Right. Okay.
Well, I think that's all I need to know.
Yeah, I think now we just need to figure out, well, one, where are we sending her, or is she coming with us? Are we sending her somewhere safe, or is she coming with us?
I ain't going
Uh,
with you.
Okay, that's what I thought. Are we gonna leave her here with
think-
our?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I think the plan at the end of last session was to get her to a ship and have her sail away into the distance.
That's what I remember as well.
Okay.
And Zara was going to be uh, the one who bartered for her to get on a ship.
Using her past.
Okay. All right. So I guess the next question would be where would we go to find a ship ride?
I believe there's a port in town, correct?
Yes, this
This is a port city.
yes, the actual port section where all the docks, etc., are is fairly large. It is a ways. There's a way down there through. The only way to get there while inside the city is there's a spiraling tunnel that kind of leads down because the city's up on like a crag cliff area, and it spirals down
Okay.
through that cliff down to where along the side where the coast is, and the city is different in that the whole that whole section is built up with specific buildings in places where like sea peoples could actually come in. There's waterways for them to come into and like come up inside of buildings where they could still be in the water but interact with land peoples. And there's been a lot of trade dealing with like the undersea people. So that's why this city, besides like the capital city, is so prosperous because they found a way to expand their trade routes into the sea, not just across the sea.
Okay. Aga's not all about water. So he'll accompany to the port, but he would like to not go down to the water.
I'm fine with heading all the way there. I did come in on a boat.
You're a brave man.
So
Let's try.
I do have a question
Mhm.
about for Aga, actually. About like for, how fire are you?
I am lit, fam.
You
Okay.
can't just Skippy. You can't just ask people how fire they are.
Hold on, I'm gonna make a note of that. I have lessons that Temperance has been teaching me. That's gonna be one of them now. But like, if you walk into a wooden building, is it going like? Is there a potential that it will burn?
If I get mad enough, possibly.
Can't ask someone how fire they. Okay. I'm pleased with every single outcome of that answer. Sweet. I was just wondering because like we were in a wooden building. I was like, you're sitting on a bed, so I was like, huh. I wonder how
Yes.
safe is this? All right. Yeah. So let's head down to the port and get Anitra to safety.
Sounds
Okay.
good to me.
What are we doing with the
She's- Hmm?
what's it called guy? I forget what his name is. Our
Marcus?
butler.
Oh, Dustin.
He is remaining at the shop.
Okay.
And Anitra, before you're leaving, gonna pause a bit and then start pulling her armor off. Like she's still wearing clothes under, obviously, but just to
And
trying to look different.
A lot
If
more
I-
recognizable.
if I remember correctly, it was like scraggly. They made it themselves armor, right?
Yeah, it's like whatever armor they were able to get a hold of and either stained with ink or dye trying to make it dark.
Okay. Is there any chance, being a tribal person, is there any chance that I would is there like a marking of like maybe it's badger colored or something like that? Like Legends of the Hidden Temple, is there like a marking of some sort?
No, it's just a lot
Just
of
garbage.
it's just kind of like old armor, like not all the pieces kind of match, like it's just been cobbled together over time and sort of stained roughly the same color.
Yeah, I didn't know if maybe there was something that would allow us to maybe like return the armor and be like, hey, we found this. We before she passed, she said she was, to return it or
I mean, you
something
could
of.
theoretically still do that. I mean, like, I believe she mentioned they're kind of all that way. Like, even the dead body. Like, I know a couple of you had looked over like the one that had died, and it's like a similar situation where it was just like they got
Right.
armor that they got. So
Right. Yeah.
just by way of what it looks like could kind of like work if you want to try to use it as a disguise or try to bring it back.
No,
Sort of.
I'm not that smart. I just wanted to see if maybe there was something else to it, seeing as though it seems somewhat tribal in nature, their group of people.
Mm-hmm. Nothing like that.
Okay.
And she's Xanroar, she's not like getting naked. She has clothes underneath her armor.
Oh yeah.
It's
Well, good.
So when
I don't want
when
to see any
things
of that.
start to change, he just kind of quickly turns away.
All right.
So
Once
Once
she
I can
is
take
done,
that from you when you're done.
yeah, she's kind of debating on the cloak. But ends up leaving that. So she's just sort of in the basic trousers and shirt and belt, and has pulled her hair down, kind of unwashed. So she looks part of the unwashed masses, essentially, and doesn't really have much else. Or
I'll just pack away whatever she's leaving behind into my bag for now.
mm-hmm.
all right. Then shall we?
So Skippy so Skippy is wondering if we would like to invite our 3 friends over here in the bar to join us on this raid. Kind of like a mutual aid kind of thing.
The like Jersey Shore looking guys.
Yeah.
They so
Good.
Skippy is approaching, and they kind of
Well, oh, sorry. I was gonna have Zara approach because Skippy
Okay.
also a gargoyle currently.
He's just wandering around as a gargoyle.
Oh yeah.
And
So I guess Skippy's gonna like nag Zara to do it. But yeah, so basically Zara will walk up and be like, "Hey, I'm trying to impersonate his voice. Hey, so we have this really cool raid going on these Badger guys, and we're seeing if you guys would like to, help us, help you, help us find the tower. What do you guys say?" I'll roll a something roll for that.
and they'll look at each other, and then look down at you guys. Clear recognition of Zara. Not so much a gargoyle, a really small gargoyle. A raid. The dwarf kind of raises a brow, and his beard is braided, and there's like a little pink bow at the bottom that he's just kind of like nervously playing with. What?
And see if he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, so we found this place where the people that had something to do with taking the tower are at. Well, and so we're gonna go, and we're gonna see if we can get the tower back from them. If you guys wanted to come, and we can split the reward. Oh, it's Skippy, your friend."
And the redhead kind of just leans forward over the table and down at the gargoyle and is like, I remember you being a bit more feathery before. And kind of
Just pop out of.
just leans on like his elbow on the table and his chin on his hand, and it's like, are you sure you should be talking so loud about something like that?
Well, I mean, we're all friends here.
And,
Zara would probably nudge Skippy at this point.
the dwarf's like, yes, but walls tend to have ears, you know.
Well, who's looking at
I would, in seeing this and not knowing the people, but if they're gonna join us, they're gonna have to prove themselves in order Aga to be okay with them joining our new group. May I challenge the strongest looking one to an arm wrestling? If I'll say if they want to join before they actually join, I will see if they are worthy of joining us.
I have sheets. I have to find them.
I mean, you don't have to. You can just say I win.
That is true. We could do that.
That is very true. Okay. So, they look at each other again. Then the three of them shrug together, and the dwarf gets up and comes over. Arm wrestling, huh? Been a while.
Again, that's only if they say that they want to join us. I will test their fortitude.
Currently they seem curious about it.
Okay, well then I'll hold off on the arm wrestling until they say yes.
Skippy will pop back out of gargoyle form, even though his hour's not up and he really enjoys it.
Ta-da!
That would probably be really scary.
I just imagine it kind of just goes poof, and there's like feathers like floating down, and
1980s transformation scene. Poof.
yeah. So, yeah, I guess Skippy, because yeah, Skippy will hop up on the table and be like, "This is our chance for glory and riches and friendship bonding and fun." He looks at Zara. I don't know Zara. Zara gives him like, manacles up kind of thing, mandible, and goes back and is like, "If you join us, we could be known as the greatest heroes across this land."
Well, that's amazing. The redheaded guy, he's got a like a big smirk, and he's watching. He's very amused by your speech, and it's like, but what have you found out about these badger folk that you want to raid? What exactly are we raiding? And how exactly are we going to accrue riches and glory?
Well, riches and glory come from when we find the tower, but we are raiding a compound that the Badgers have. That's he looks through his notes of like lessons that he learned from Temperance, and he's like, "That's all I can tell you right now for safety reasons." And then he looks up from his like notebook back at them.
um, the big blonde guy, still has his red robes on. They're a bit more rumpled now since it's morning-ish, and he's leaning back in his chair, has his fingers laced together and resting on his big belly, and he's watching. your interactions. It's kind of like a really mellow smile. I think it could be a good idea, but do you have a plan? Plans tend to be a bit more important.
So hoot. I realize that Aga doesn't know what that is, but that's my sign for help. Xanroar, we went over a plan, and it was something that Skippy was drawing during.
Zenra's just leaning up against I'm guessing this booth over here, just watching you stumble through all this, just kind of grinning.
Zara will step up. It's like he's gonna sit there and is going to sit there and come. Oh, there's a demon next to Zara now.
I forgot that the downstairs and the upstairs were on the same map. I was like, I think I'm frozen, but no,
Scroll down.
just joshing.
So Zara's gonna step up and be like, "Look, our plan is we go in there, we take out who needs to get taken out, and with warriors and fighters like us, our combined strength put together, we're like a small army that nobody could take down. I think that, this is a great mutually beneficial agreement. And, what's the harm if, like, we get the tower, then great, we all get the favors from Bowen, because he said, it's not mutually exclusive to one member of the party. So combine our parties, then we're working together, do well. And, if we don't get the tower here, then we both have the same information to go on in the future. I really think that this is our best bet for everybody to, acquire, whatever the prize is for Bowen. From Bowen.
Xanrar's just gonna pipe up. We also have a map of the interior to avoid any traps and unsavory business.
We also have a
If
map.
that eases your mind.
The three of them look at each other again, do that singular mutual bro shrug, then look back at you guys. It's like, when are you planning on doing this?
So we just have to get our friends to the dock and on a ship, and then we're heading right to the compound.
So,
Oh, and maybe a cinnamon roll on the way.
Win, who is the blonde fellow, he sits up a bit and he's like, I think we have a bit of, we have some preparing to do, or at least I do. Looks at the others and they nod. Is there somewhere we could meet?
How about down by the docks?
Why not the passage down to the Midnight District? In,
That's
say,
also.
2 hours.
I think there's a couple different ways down there, though, isn't there?
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3. There's
The
stairs
westernmost
down.
one?
Sure.
Yeah.
Give us 2-3 hours. Meet there.
2-3 hours then.
Well, before I'm guessing that's their okay, we'll meet you. Before we just let them come along, let's see how strong they are, how capable. And then that's when I will challenge the toughest looking one.
Get your dwarf. For a dwarf, he does seem kind of anxious, but he doesn't complain. He, like, when Xanroar talks about which one, Aga, Xanroar, whichever. Aga is asking about the strongest. He just stands up because that's him, and he comes over and he'll sit down and roll out his shoulders, snap his neck, and offer his hand. So we will do this as strength checks. You'll start
Okay.
off centermost, and then we'll make a strength check to see whose hand moves, and then another strength check to see whether or not that person wins or if he's pushed back until one hand hits the ground or hits
Okay.
the table.
So best 2 out of 3, but you got to win 2 in a row.
Sorta, yeah.
Okay, unless it starts going too long.
So,
Rest of the session is just gonna be arm wrestling.
yes.
All right.
Ready.
Steady.
And
Not a good start. There we
No.
go.
so he's pushing. He's fairly strong, but you're definitely like they've all been drinking. They were smashed to hell like the night before. He's kind of still dealing with some of that. So his hand is pushed back a ways. So time, see if you can push him down or if he's going to push you back.
Okay.
Oof.
No! Dang it! I thought that was my crit. Dang it!
No.
We clicked it exactly the same time.
He takes a deep breath and just pushes. So you're back in the center again.
Okay.
Push.
Man, that was a
He's-
crit fumble.
Yep, he's got the advantage on you now.
Okay. I am
Oh,
well, I was gonna say that I was gonna rage
Okay, you can
and just let a little bit of fire come out, but not a whole lot.
You want to
'Cause-
waste a rage?
Because when I rage, everyone starts to hurt.
whoa.
So he's cheating essentially.
no, my hand's just gonna get like a little warm.
Con save. Let's see.
No, I don't want to actually do
First-
damage to
Okay,
anyone.
so you're just
My eyes are like getting a little flamey.
anime flames fire.
Yeah, and
Things are
I
getting
don't
hot, ladies and gentlemen.
think it's necessary, but I
Yeah,
now have
advantage.
right. Mother of
Not gonna
goodness.
help.
All right.
He feels that fire, and you see his eyes get wide, and you're not sure. It's kind of almost like you see in animals like that fight or flight reflex, and he like
Right.
sees the fire, and it's just immediately just pushes your hand down till it slams against the thing.
I accept.
Then he stands up and he bows his
'Kay.
head.
Then I'll do one of those bro like forearm grasps.
And he smiles a bit. Don't give up on that. You can be a champion.
Do I need to get a tape measure out next?
Ooh, are we gonna measure height? I think Aga's taller though.
I gotta look over at Skippy for. I'll tell you more when you're older.
And he will head back over towards his companions.
Okay.
Well, we'll see you in 3 hours then.
And they'll nod, raise their mugs. And like the three of them lean in together as they're starting to make their own plans.
Okay.
I've been keeping an eye on Anitra during all this.
Where's she at? She's still upstairs?
She's still upstairs, kinda just sitting awkwardly waiting for you guys to do what you're doing. She's essentially kind of like at your mercy. She has no money. She has no like just the clothes on her back, essentially. That's it.
I'll head up and go grab her. We're off to the docks now.
As the people start to conspire and make their own plans, did they like wait for us to turn around and start going, or did they just start doing?
They just started talking to each other.
Okay.
They're not being sneaky about anything.
Okay. Well, I don't trust them, but I will keep that to myself.
I mean, if you want, we can definitely bring this to a party vote. Like,
No, because they beat me, so I respect them as a fighter, but and I'll wait until we're away from them before saying how I don't trust them. But they seemed a little more eager than normal people when you say you're gonna go raid a compound of people. And they asked how much like we knew, which tribal mentality, if people are asking that, it's normally because they want to know how much you know in order to defend or see if they have anything to worry about type thing. So that's what Aga's thinking right now. Like, they're not to be trusted, but I'm gonna keep an eye on them as we go through.
Well, let's focus on the current task, and then we'll deal with that when it comes to it, alright?
Right. Vengeance will be mine.
Zara's just gonna shake his. Alright, let's get moving. I'm guessing the docks are over this way.
Yes. So, essentially, if you see my ping, this area over here, it's like a really like huge pavilion sort of area where the main tunnel that leads down towards the docks is. And the tunnel is like lit up by bespelled seashells, like just laid into the wall. It's very pretty, um, very well cared for. So it'll weave down towards the dock area, down, which is down this way.
as we're heading there, are there any loose shells?
They're not loose, like they're affixed into the stone wall, but
Yes.
there's probably bits of shells and stuff on the ground that were dropped, because you're passing people, you're passing carts. Like, this is wide enough so that you could get maybe like 2 or 3 full size like covered wagons like walking together if they were that much like of an asshole and taking up all the room. But it's wide enough for that to happen, because a lot of goods are being moved through here, coming up this way, and people heading down towards the docks for their own purposes. So it's a pretty well traveled area.
I'm
So
gonna be keeping my eye out for anyone tailing us or, giving us more attention than one would normally expect.
wow, that's way more useful than what I was about to do. Uh, so I would love to look out to see if there's any like still glowing like shells on the ground that I could just like pick up.
You're not so likely to find like a full shell, but probably like a piece of one, like if something bashed into like the wall and broke a piece off. But they're
Yeah,
they're affixed generally, and
I would
they're
like to.
permanently glowing. Especially like Xanroar, like you'd have seen this coming in, like even at night, like um, they're kept glowing.
Yeah, so I'd like to just collect enough pieces that I can kind of distribute it around the party in case. Because I mean, we're going underground, not only here but like other places, and Skippy just likes glowing magical stuff. So just like search around for like pieces of shells to pick up along the way.
Little shell bits.
How did
If you were perceptioning, if someone was perceptioning, you could roll a perception.
For it.
I would like to just be like have a heightened, a little bit of a heightened passive perception. I'm trying to keep an eye out for Joe Schmo and the Jersey Boys.
You don't see them.
Right.
They do not appear to be following you. So you head down to the dock area. It is a very lively place, and it does smell a lot like the sea. It does smell a lot like fish. That's just what's going to happen, especially like the closer you get to the water. But there's a whole section where like waterways, like man-made waterways, were built into um the coming up through. It's kind of like Venice-like, almost like how like there's just a lot of waterways coming through, and there are sea folk meandering through and like pulled up either part way or out, so they're interacting with people. There are buildings specifically designed for trade or just interacting in general. Like there's like bars set up the same way, so like land folk and sea folk can interact with each other. And
Cool.
um
I'm staying away
docks.
from the water.
So what is your
Generous.
plan?
Zara, you said you know how to get somebody to give somebody else passage. Do you know where we should be
Yar.
heading?
Well, so let's look for a boat first, and see if there's anybody that I know that doesn't hate me or want to kill me. That's a great starting point. And from there we can figure the rest of it out.
So roll some investigations.
Zara.
I'll give her guidance.
Zara investigation
So plus a d4.
plus a D4.
As they go down, I'll just stand at like the top of the steps wherever they went down and keep a lookout for peoples.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna, before stepping in, I'm gonna take off my metal boots and just kind of hand them to him. I prefer these don't get rusted. Salt water isn't very good for armor.
So there are a few boats available. There's no one really that she knows, considering that she's not particularly from this area, and the sort of seafaring work that she did was not generally the most kosher of things, but um she's clever enough that if someone starts getting too like suspicious, that like there are enough of her species here, the Gadakai here, that are actual refugees, that she can play that off fairly easily. Um, but like there are a couple ships that are available. One that's leaving in a week. That one would be, um, like they're not looking for people to work. It would be straight up passage to elsewhere. Um, there are two others that are looking for work. Like they will take on somebody who is willing to work, but if you remember, she does not have any skills whatsoever when it comes to boats. So how do you want to handle that?
So, Zara, being a sailor by trade, the first place that a sailor goes after they make port is a tavern. So, Zara will walk to a tavern and kind of see if anybody's looking for somebody to, like, a cook's assistant, or just somebody to, like, swab the decks, or, you know, like a starting position, no experience required, right out of college kind of thing.
The grunt work.
Okay, so there's a bunch of sailors in here. It's raucous. It smells bad. As bathing doesn't often happen on boats. And there is a group from a boat, and like a fair couple groups essentially. Like, as I said, you were able to find at least 2 that are willing to hire, but and the one is standing there with with Zara, kind of a heavy set woman who is not sure if half orc, but orc is in there somewhere, possibly, in her, like, the shoulders and the jawline, and the way her lower teeth kind of tilt forward a bit. Not full on tusk like, but it's close. And she's looking Anitra up and down, who, like, without her cloak and without her armor, she just looks like this scraggly street kid. And she's just sort of has her head down, eyes darting back and forth. Like Anitra's pretty paranoid. Like, she's really tense looking, and it's not like, definitely not confident, but like, kind of, like, practically radiating off the I'm trying to escape kind of feel, escape from something. And this woman is kind of looking her up and down. It's like, give me one good reason why I should take someone like her and not one of these. And she, like, waves her hand, like, across the around the bar. Any of these people here who know what they're doing.
All right. One good reason. Because, while the kid may be a diamond in the rough, she is just that. She is willing to work hard, and she is willing to do whatever needs to be done. And on top of that, she is willing to learn whatever needs to be done for whatever she doesn't know. I know that may not sound like something ideal for being out on a ship, but the kid has more spunk than any of these sailors in this tavern. Uh, we can also offer you a bit of gold. Zara nudges Skippy to take her on, and, you know, teach her the ropes. But Skippy made that sound with minor illusion. Uh, thank you. And, you know, she's a great kid. She's willing to work, and she just fell on a little bit of hard time. And we're trying to do right by somebody who, you know, has been done wrong by this world.
Roller persuasion.
Appealing to the merciful side of a pirate. It's a strong play.
Nobody ever said that they were a pirate.
Oh, that's not
Oof.
the best.
If they're in a pirate bar,
This is just a sailor's bar.
a pirate.
Not every sailor is a pirate.
No, but
Just Zara is.
the ones who hang out at a bar are. Most pirates, they'll have their own rum on their
They
ship.
are.
Wow,
So,
we're 3 for 3 tonight with bad jokes.
so she's listening to this and sucking on her teeth and sort of getting lost halfway through. Just so what'd she do?
What'd she do?
You are
it
literally
matter?
trying to pay me to take her off your hands. What did
I would-
she do?
I
It
would
was
put
just
it.
to get out of the city.
I wouldn't necessarily put it like that, but if you must know, she was being what's the, I'm actually like trying to think of the word not persuaded, but I don't know. She was taken in as a child from a very skeevy group of people, and they had her, doing some work as a thief. And once she tried to get her life clean, they didn't really appreciate that too much. And so we're just trying to get her out from under, skeevy people who are trying to do dishonest work. And these sailors, these ships, it's hard. It can sometimes be rough, but in the end of the day, it's all honest work. Skippy would probably start to pipe up and be like, "Wait, but," and then Zara would just nudge him again.
She's looking Anitra over, who, while Zara was talking, just tries to stand up a bit straighter and like pulls her shoulders back and lifts her head up and meets the captain in the eye. It's like, I could do this. And he did it roll too poorly. So the captain again, just doing that like sucking on her teeth, kind of pondering, looking from her, and then back down to Zara. Like, how much?
How much?
You gonna pay me to take her
Uh,
off your hands?
So we have about uh 5 gold on us right now. If I'm sure if we all compiled together, we could do 10.
I guess I can do that.
Like, one more persuasion roll. Oof.
Thanks, Zara.
You're welcome.
She rubs at her chin, looks over at this girl. Is like, I'm gonna regret this. But she offers her hand to Zara first.
Zara extends a whatever bug hands are called
Hands.
to her. Oh, they're just called hands? Okay, extends a hand to her.
Yes, there's just 4 of them. So she'll shake her hand. It's like, name Sheila. Then turns to Anitra and does the same, like takes her hand. But you could see Anitra wince, like at the like how hard her hand is being shook. It's like, you disappoint me, you're going off the side. Then kind of eyes the others. So, paying up now.
Skippy, pay the bird. Or pay the girl. Skippy's the bird. And
Bird, pay the
Skippy,
girl.
bird, pay the girl. The captain, sorry. And Skippy will hand over 10 gold pieces,
Okay.
dropping me away from 420.
So Anitra's just sort of like awkwardly standing there, and say your goodbyes now. We're leaving tonight. And she's gonna go back to her seat, and Anitra will turn back to you guys. She looks really bewildered, like entirely. Like, this is really happening?
Sure is. Just remember, these people are not joking about throwing you off the side. Keep your head down, learn what you can, and you'll be a great sailor someday. Or if you just want to get off at the next port and do something else. But I'm sure whatever you do, you'll be great. Zara gives her like a finger guns kind of thing with all 4 hands.
Quad
Do you
guns.
want any of your stuff back? The cloak or the armor?
She shakes her head. I'm done with that now. You could burn it for all I care.
Yeah, we'll make good use of it. I know it's not much of a gift, but Xanroar's gonna dig around into his bag of holding and pull up what looks to be a hooded lantern. This light will never go out, and he hands over his his continuous flame hooded lantern.
Really? And she takes it and just kind of like turns it over in her hands.
Well, unless somebody casts a spell on it, that will never go out.
Skippy cast a spell. No.
Xanroar toe punts him out the window.
Skippy's going to hop up, and Skippy is going to be really sad that his new friend is leaving, possibly forever. And so he's gonna walk up and be like, I really hope that you have fun on the boat and see lots of cool things. So here, I wanted you to have this. And he hands over the book that he was reading in the closet to Anitra. And he's like, I know you can't really read too well, but if you ever do learn, it's really great. And while you were talking with everybody, and I was standing guard as a gargoyle, I drew some more pictures in there, and like right in the cover, there's another 3 gold pieces. And he's like, if you're ever back in town, you know, Cabbage Detective Agency, I think there's only one. And then he like just kind of hops away, a little sad.
Well, before he hops away, she'll crouch down and sort of awkwardly sort of like pet him on the head, like not really sure. She's kind of really stiff, like she's trying to be affectionate, but doesn't really know how, sort of. So she just pets him on the head and says, "I did like your pictures a lot."
Well, she's got the lying of a pirate down.
Once again, not pirates.
Well, best of luck to you. Any final words about your former companions?
Just, I'm not even sure what else to say.
Fair enough. Happy trails. Then we're just gonna turn and start heading back to where we left our other companion, Aga.
And
Skippy will hop away.
And For Aga, there's probably a lot of people in like sort of like races that he's not seen. If he avoids the water, there are like all sorts of like you're getting tritons, you're getting like merfolk, um like squid-like people that don't even have like humanoid form, like just like coming through the waterways and stopping to look at him because he's really strange looking to them too. So he's big and scaly, and what is happening? But
Fire platypus.
Right. Yeah, so I was gonna say I'll just do a perception while I'm up there just to kind of take in the sights. As I am trying to figure out what else is in the world. And so this will just be stuff that I'll mentally log.
Mhm.
Man, my rolls are crap
Well,
today.
it's not bad. Um, there are people that nearby. There is. It's like a small building. It kind of looks like it might be a bar, but like people stumble out and it's more like the door opens and there's just smoke like faintly billowing out through the door before it's closed, and the people are a bit fumbly as they wander around. Pretty much very good mood, but these are mostly dragonborn people and one triton that comes out. And the triton guy is completely sopping wet and laughing and shoving at the shoulder of this dragonborn that's like a good 3 times the size as him, and the dragonborn shoves him and he goes like cartwheeling off into one of the waterways and doesn't come back up.
Okay.
Okay.
At the sight of someone else scaly, I would, and Andy is coming out of a room where there was smoke.
Mm-hmm.
He said, after he shoves the wet guy away, if he comes my direction, I will greet him as a fellow fire person.
Raises fire. He's big, he's muscly, he's like totally your kind of guy, but his eyes, like his pupils are really really small for some reason, and he's like looking at you and squinting his eyes. He's like, what do you need fire for? Like head tilting.
No need for fire. Just respect those that can harness the energy of destruction.
Well, yeah, I could burp and burn down this building right here, but
Wait, you breathe fire?
well, he just kind of smiles. Dragon.
I don't know what dragon is. May I see?
It's
What
like
is dragon?
me. This dragonborn's like, what's happening here? He's like, points. I am a dragon. Dragons breathe. Many things,
Well,
but me.
everybody breathes.
No. Look, and he like turns to the side, and he breathes in, and he literally belches really loud, and just like this gout of flame just goes into the air, and like everyone nearby just like within like 30 feet just like leap back and scream and like fall into the water or jump into the water, and just He's like, see?
Okay. I will be thoroughly impressed. Now, here is a question for the DM. In order to retaliate as a fellow fire person, may I pretty much go Super Saiyan without actually expending a rage to show that I too
Yeah, like
can?
as like your I mean, you can cast, I think, Burning Hands at some point. I don't know if you've reached that point yet.
No,
But,
I can cast Firebolt.
there. But you just want to
But
like
Firebolt,
anime flames essentially.
yeah, Firebolt's lame. So he just belched a huge fire. I want to like go Super Saiyan without actually using a rage since I've already used one.
Sure,
Can-
you could do that.
Can we see him at this point? Like,
Are you if you
Yeah, have we gotten back?
you probably from like coming out of the like where you left Anitra, you just see this like you hear like the echo of this really loud belch and just flames just like burst like from up on the ledge where like you left your flamey friend.
Think that.
So
I'm just
you
gonna be like, oh shit,
you-
you still
you
got my boots.
you
Start,
could
like splashing through the water quickly.
well, you're not in water. You're on
Oh.
docks.
I thought we were in water, so never mind.
No.
I wouldn't have given him my boots.
You're not heading into water, but unless you're like trying to like wade through the waterways. Like there are like actual street paths like alongside the waterways for like street like land folk. It's meant to work for both land and water. So
Yeah, no, I'm just,
if you're trying to
I'm
go
just kinda
quickly
booking
and
it
like
there.
yeah, splash through some water, that is very possible. And
he wouldn't
sure, I
splash
will
through water,
totally
he-
allow you to go Super Saiyan because that is cool. Just flames, because
Yeah,
you are made of flames.
right. So I'll flame on, and then what's his what is his response?
so Skippy is just like using this to like exaggerate his flames a little bit.
Are you there yet?
Oh, I thought we like walked out and could see him, so I was assuming that he was
No,
somewhere.
we're like a couple buildings away. Got a
He's
flame
definitely
in the
further away
sky.
than 30 feet.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Never mind.
But it's impressive enough, and his eyes go wide, and he's like, "Can you teach me that?" He's
I
like,
don't know.
buddy, friend, and he like comes closer, and he's like patting you're like on fire, and he's like reaching in to pat your shoulders. He's got like resistance to fire, so it stings, but he's like not caring.
Right.
He's just like, you must teach me. Like his eyes are really wide, and still like his pupils are really tiny.
Small. Yeah. So he looks hella creepy.
Yes.
I would teach you if I knew how. I was born this way. And then I'll bring the flames back in as to not try and scare the people around us too much.
Everyone else is like they're kind of like peeking around. Like it only happened for a couple seconds, and there are some guards around just kind of like watching what's happening, but no fighting is actually occurring, so it's just a lot of confusion and like, is this a street show? It's like murmurs from the surrounding crowd, and he kind of slumps a bit. It's like exaggerated, and his tails droops. He's like, "It's the same with my burps."
Well, I'll say it's nice to meet you, friend. Someone like me. And I will reach a hand out because I now know that handshakes are a thing that people do for friends.
And he'll do the like he'll take his hand and shake and like do the two-handed like really excited like I'm too strong for my own good, nearly ripping your arm off sort of shake back.
Okay. Cool. I was a barbarian and I did something not just angry. I am successful.
Barbarian. Let's go.
You've won the campaign already.
Yeah.
Aga has completed his quest and will go back to his tribe now.
I guess by this point, we made it back to him.
Yes, by now you're approaching. And his new dragon form friend is sort of like weaving like back like he's not entirely he's not like drunken walking, but it's clear he's kind of
Under an influence.
yeah, he's under an influence. Like he starts to go one way, then he's like, huh, and then like turns and starts to go like another way.
Did you start a fire?
No. But I did
Not good
meet
enough for me
someone.
then. Let's get moving.
Okay. I was gonna say I did meet someone like me, which was
He did
But-
not care.
nope. It's okay. Aga's used to it.
Skippy will, on the way there, he'll just like listen to Aga's story about his fire duel. Yeah.
Do we have enough time to stop by
Sweet roll?
the if it's on the way to the church or the temple, sorry.
I mean, how long?
No, like that's going in the complete opposite direction.
Okay.
This is probably taking like a bit of time. You are probably going to be late for meeting, but not like a terrible amount of time. 'Cause the temples are all up this way, and you're heading down there.
All right.
And you
Yeah,
told
we
them
were
to
heading
meet
toward
at the
this direction
westmost,
anyway.
so you're heading down in this direction.
All right, cool.
I still have the kobold hideout marked off from where
Hey, we
Norman found it.
You could also ask the kobolds to join us.
I'd rather not.
Yeah, I trust them a little less, but
We've already got enough people with us. It's better we just try and focus on getting there while we still have the element of surprise.
so yeah, let's
Let's
head
move
there,
it.
and Skippy will try and fly ahead to try to be there a little bit early because you can just fly
Mhm.
over the buildings and whatnot.
You can do this, and when you get there, they're not there.
Okay. Skippy is going to perch on the like top of the highest point there, I guess, and wait.
Okay. And
Do this.
the rest of you guys are you heading right there? Were there any stops you were gonna make?
No.
Nope, heading right there.
Yeah.
But once we see that they're not there, that is when I will let them know that I don't trust them.
And you definitely get there, like the others will get there. And you're late. You're maybe just because of the distance you had to walk. Like you're generally going like coming out of here. There's always a lot of people. Depending on the direction you go, like if you try to cut through here, there's a ton of people because this is the main market area. It'd be faster if you take like the side roads, but that's a longer distance. So you'll get there. You're maybe like 20 minutes late-ish, and they are not there.
For the 3-hour mark?
I thought it was 2 hours.
It was 2 hours.
I said 2 to 3 hours.
Well,
Before, but
if
yeah.
2 to 3 you're on time, but they are not there yet at 2 in 20 minutes ish time frame.
Okay. Well, I'll still say that I didn't think they were trustworthy, and I'll explain why. They seemed all too eager. Well, pretty much what I said before. The fact that they were eager to know what we knew about something that was supposedly super secret, according to what's her face. And so I think they might be part of that crew. So be on lookout for an ambush. And then I'm gonna go like super heightened perception.
I'll give you guidance on it.
Skippy will do what he did in the bar when he was like keeping an eye out and just keep spinning his head in like 360s. He's an owl. Are we gonna wait for them or?
I say we wait at least until that 3-hour mark, since it's only the like 2:20 mark.
Okay, so
And we were confused on what time.
So Skippy has a tactical question. What languages does everybody speak? Does
Well,
everybody speak like Draconic?
I can speak common.
Okay.
And that's the and azan-hi. I guess I didn't write down languages.
All right. So.
Oh, nope, I did. Common and azan-hi. That's it.
All right. Never mind then, because I was gonna say if we have a language outside of Common that we can speak, so like other people can't like listen in as easily, that would be nice. However, we obviously do not have that.
Remember that this country, or this kingdom, is a Dragonborn based country, so Draconic would probably not be the language to use to do that.
Yeah, but Skippy is 5 language kid,
Speak
and
all
Nelson
the
is
things.
1 none. So.
So,
All right.
the 3-hour mark will roll around, and a little bit after, and you don't see anybody.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Is there anything among being heightenedly perceptive? Is there anything like did the town just like suddenly get quiet? Like the area that we are,
Nope.
suddenly like people start clearing the streets.
Nope.
Is it high noon time?
Nope.
So,
Yeah, there are people coming and going from here. It's a semi-active
ooh,
area, given that like this is how you switch levels of the city, but it's
Right.
all stairs. Um, it's a language. It is it's a pretty steep climb, so it's almost like you don't want people coming up out of there that often, but people do because they have to. But people are coming and going. Nobody that you recognize.
Okay. They did have a couple of drinks. I wonder how far away is like another entrance that potentially Skippy could fly and
Um, Probably about
fly in.
10-20 minutes walking, but you could probably fly it faster.
Okay. So Aga will suggest that to see if maybe they got mixed up on the location. but would tell Skippy to be careful.
Yep. Skippy will do that. I roll like dexterity to see how fast I do it.
No, you could zip by pretty quickly.
Skip
But
by
roll
pretty quick.
you and roll a perception as you're flying overhead.
Okay. Perception. Outfit. No, good one.
You do
Cool.
you do not see them. Even circling around a bit, they're nobody familiar.
All right. Skippy will fly back, and he will land and talk about. Oh, I saw a cloud that was shaped kind of like a giraffe, which is a really long-necked horse thing that I heard about in a book one time. And I also saw the baker who makes the sweet rolls. He was out. He was meeting a really nice lady over on the corner. They seemed really friendly, so they must be good friends. And then
Skippy,
yeah, yeah.
did you see the ones you were looking for?
No. That was not it. No.
Okay,
Do you guys want to
so
try and head to the hideout right now, or do you want to try and head back to the bar?
I
I
said
Try
looking.
and see if they're there.
go ahead.
I was gonna say I say looking for them at this point. Like they either decided that they didn't want to do it, or there's something that like taking more time would not help with. I think Skippy would have this thought process too. Um, so like I feel like we might as well just go now and be the
I
heroes ourselves.
I agree. I will say though that it lines up with the fact that they would be part of the crew if they just didn't show up. They might have gone and told the people about us, so we might be walking into a trap.
Fair enough.
Just something to be weary of. And I think at this point I have made it clear that my guy is not from these parts of Kansas. Okay.
So yeah. Zara will suggest, since we told them to meet us here, why don't we go into the dark quarters at a different entrance? That way, if there is an ambush here, it won't be waiting for us. Yeah, maybe like just bypass that whole ambush kind of thing.
Sure thing. I think that's a reasonable idea.
I don't like the idea of backing away from cowards, but I see your point.
So it's not backing away from cowards. It's being smarter than them to fight them on our playing field.
If this group is really like what Juanita says, I forget what her name was.
Anitra.
Juanita.
Yeah, I knew it was something like that.
Close enough.
Then they're probably alerted for all of the entrances, but I will follow your lead.
Skippy will look over to Xanroar and see what Xanroar wants to do.
Xanroar will just kind of shrug. It's like if they prepared one ambush, they'll probably have prepared more.
All right.
I honestly think it might not really matter where we go in.
All right.
But if you want, we can head up to the next closest one.
No, I mean if we're on, just go through this one. It'll be faster. So yeah, let's go
Okay.
through this one.
All right. Let's do it. I will take lead. I'm a little fumed.
A little fumed.
I'll
Right.
take the back. Keep the squishies in the middle.
I'll take the sky.
So you head down into the midnight district. It's late afternoonish. It's definitely the more impoverished area. It does look like at one point, like given the architecture, like the buildings themselves are pretty sturdy. Same kind of architecture as the rest of the city, but over time, like it's just nowhere near as cared for. Some places are alright, but like the further away that one gets from the actual like stair area, like out back this way, you'll find where areas are heavily impoverished. But given you were given landmarks and the basic direction on where to go, I just want you to roll a someone or all of you as a group can roll a survival to see how quickly it takes you to find where you're going.
Man, my rolls are terrible.
Xanroar, like you were heading in the right direction. Who rolled the 22?
That was the Zara.
Okay. So, Xanroar, you're like heading off in the right direction, and a couple of you were like, no, 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 it's this way. But Zara's like, screw y'all, come on. And just like essentially grabs you by the shirt collars, and following the landmarks, you're heading essentially to this area. There are a lot of narrow alleyways in houses built real close together. Like this is mostly residential. Like you're not really finding a lot of shops or anything in this area, but there are essentially what are manholes, but they open up instead of like pulling like a whole circular manhole bit off, they unfurl. So like they're on like it's sections on latches that can be pulled open. Like triangular, like almost like pizza together. That open
Gotcha.
on latches that you can peel open. And there is the like an actual ladder, and then there's a makeshift rope ladder attached to it, like she said there would be.
All right. I will hop down or slide down, not like actually hop. That would be terrible.
I'll keep looking around up top. I'll be the last one in.
Okay. So I am going to switch your map.
Pokemon random battle sound.
Da, 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 da.
So you would be arriving in this part of the sewers. It's a sewer. Doesn't smell too great down here. Let me make sure I put you in the right spot. Look at that
I was
map.
gonna say all I see is black, and then I saw it.
Scroll down a
All I
tad.
have are negative thoughts.
Wow. I have too many folders and I keep losing my stuff. Here we go. Actually, she put you off this way.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, I'm just revealing. So this should be the square that you land in.
Oh, okay.
That was my mistake. There we go.
It's alright, we'll blame it on Juanita.
And you have a map
Okie dokie.
Yes.
All right.
So it's not like you don't know that room is there. So.
Is that to scale? Are we really that small?
Yes. Zoom in. Well, no,
Oh.
actually. Why are you tiny? Come here, you. You're.
Why are you tiny?
For some reason, he was very small.
To the giant forge cleric. Why so small? Okay. All right. So when coming down the ladder, if I look north and south, can I hear or like get a glimpse of maybe like a torch in the hallway or something like that?
Roll a perception.
Okay.
There's no torches. You do hear moving water, but it's more trickly. Like it's not. It sounds more like a stream than like a river.
Right. Okay.
Is it like
I
pitch black right now?
There is no lights, so if you do not have dark vision, there will be troubles seeing.
okay. Well, good thing I have dark vision. I believe.
Same.
No, I don't.
Well,
Oh,
aren't
I
you a
do.
torch?
Well, not really.
Am I the only one with dark vision?
Skippy has glowing shell pieces.
How much light does those shed?
I don't know. How do I make a Skippy?
Just drag from your journal
From the
entry. Yep, of your character.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm still willing to go first if somebody tells me where to go.
Skippy, look at the map.
Xanroar will kind of tap you on the shoulder. It's up this way and kind of. Oh wait, you can't see what I'm gesturing at, can you? Can any of you
I mean,
guys see?
we
Am I the
can.
only one who can see right now?
So like closing the manhole slice, it is pitch black down here. There's no light. There's nothing lighting the way.
Okay.
How much light
Um.
do the glowing shell bits?
Since they're like glowing shell bits, probably like a 5-foot radius, not quite a torch. There'll be dim light in. Like I think a torch casts like 10 feet and then it gets dim. You have like 5 feet and then some dimness around you.
Okay. All right.
I seriously regret not giving away that lantern now.
I was curious about that one.
I have the spell continual flame made a
You know what?
lantern before.
Um.
Do you want my lantern?
I can't cast it now. I don't have the components.
Oh.
Okay.
Or it's
So
prepared.
I feel I'm in my element even though I can't see because tensions are high. And that's what I like. So I'm gonna tell Xanroar like, hey, just tell me a direction, and I'll go. I'll still lead the way because of my spidey sense.
You need to be able to see it, I'm pretty sure.
Against
just
any
says-
effects that you can see, such as traps.
No, it says sense. But
Alright.
sense.
I'm going Zara Zara's gonna pipe up. I have a hood lantern.
If Aga wants to go quick, Skippy will hand over his glowing shell bits.
It's not a need of going quick. I just figured me going first would be the best for all of us. as I'm
At the
only good
moment,
at
will be.
one thing, and you guys are good at multiple.
I'm gonna grab Zara's lantern and use my tinderbox just to light it up. It's a hooded lantern, so it's only going to be facing forward. So now we have light.
All right.
Can Skippy hop on Xanroar's shoulder?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
And the map says for us to go northward.
To go north.
Wait, are you sure?
Yeah.
Aga didn't really look at the map, if he's going to be completely honest.
Because it kind of looks like it's an east and then north. Or is this the one on the very far left where we came in?
We're coming in on the arrow down.
Okay. Okay, cool.
So Zara should stay in between me and Aga. Skippy, you're on my shoulder.
Yeah,
We have a
and
marching order.
Skippy is on Xanroar's shoulder, looking backwards, with a readied attack.
Xanroar will be the one holding the lantern, just in case, just because Aga needs both hands for his axe.
Yep. And I will have hands on axe. It won't be at the ready, but hands on axe.
Oh, I just realized I can't even see behind. I'm staring into darkness with a readied attack.
So, you're following the map?
Yep. Like we are where we are.
I guess I should have looked at the map.
Xanroar's got it.
The map
Yeah.
is in the journal.
I know, but
Okay.
Xanroar has it, and when she was showing it, I didn't look at it, so I'm gonna.
How far does the lantern throw light?
30-foot radius of bright light and dim light for an additional 30 feet.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's all
Yon.
around us. The hood is just to make it go out completely. So it's 30 feet around us.
Okay. So
Yep.
I'll just.
I say take the first left.
And
right.
for prosperity's sake, Zara will be crawling on the ceiling.
But yeah, Skippy, you can see with the lantern the way it is.
Oh, backwards? Oh, sorry, probably not.
Like it's unhooded, so it sheds light all in full 360.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
Head
when
up.
you get to this area, you notice that the area you're walking in is pretty, like, it's damp, and like you could see on the ground that water had been moving through here. And when you get to here, you see it's not like a full wall. It's more like a dam, like a small dam that had been set up, and it's redirecting where the water is going, or it's blocking it from coming down this way. It's climb overable, but it
Did you
is
say this thing right here?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm telling Aga to head over that way.
Okay.
Oh, Zara just disappeared.
Oh no.
Where'd you go?
Oh, she's off in the void.
Wait, what happened?
I don't know. She just like zoomed off into the void.
Darn bugs.
Back. So she is stealthed.
Oh, there she is. Okay.
So I did roll a stealth for her, and she's crawling along the ceiling.
Okay.
Do you want her to just crawl over really quick and see what's on the other side of this wall?
Does Zara have dark vision?
Good question.
It didn't say she did on her sheet.
Yeah, I'm not seeing dark vision, so she would need to bring a lantern with her. The lantern with her.
Well, the thing wasn't a full. It was only a partial wall, so she'd be able to crawl over and look and still be able to see a bit.
I
Yeah.
say we
So
just stick together.
okay.
So yeah, the walls
Okay.
may be like at the most like knee height on
Oh, okay.
medium-sized
You can just
people.
step
It's
over it.
not super big, but this is where like you're getting into like the sewer water. It's gross and wet.
And wet. Yeah.
Telling him to take a right here.
How deep is the poo water we're about to get into?
A little lower than like where the dam is, so you're probably like shin deep in this. It's not the best.
Can Aga try to navigate those sides?
Yeah, there's room. There's not a lot of room. You're gonna be pressed like back against the
All
against
right.
the
Well
wall.
then, yeah. Aga's making himself small. Then on the side, or is Aga tall enough to straddle?
It's a how tall is Aga?
Uh, tall. I didn't fill out that stuff. All I know is
Like-
the azan-hi are wicked tall people.
It's
Xanroar,
the
he's
whole
6'9".
it's probably too wide. Like the
Okay.
the way the
Dude,
because
yeah,
like
don't
your square, it's about 10 feet wide. Like if you add like the
don't worry
square on
about
the
it.
side,
All right.
so you could squeeze up along the sides and
Yep.
move through.
Yeah, I'm on a. As soon as I step over,
Hold your tail up
feeling.
so like the hair and fur on your tail doesn't like drag in the water.
Yeah, as soon as I feel the wetness, I'll pull my hoof out and I'm going to hug the crap out of the wall.
There probably is a lot of crap in the wall.
I
So.
was about to say. I guess Xanroar will do the same. He'd rather not get his armor rusting.
Just so you know,
So
I
we'll
can't clean
continue
your
to-
armor after this.
Thumbs up.
So
Xanroar.
this section right here doesn't show up fantastically well on the map, but it is essentially a it kind of looks like a barricade of old furniture and garbage and stuff that was just wedged all the way from floor to ceiling into this passageway.
Oh, so it's a homeless man's place.
Yeah. We don't want to disturb him.
That is the fellow that
The tea man.
The tea guy.
makes Nietzsche uncomfortable.
He's the oolong guy. Okay. All right. Well, then I'm gonna be hugging the opposite wall of the homeless man's place.
Yeah, like that wall.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be
How
doing the same.
like big is the entrance to the homeless man's place?
Everything's like the tunnel itself is about 10 feet wide, so like all the tunnels, so it's roughly the same. So 10 feet
10 by
wide,
10?
maybe like 15 feet high, and
Oh.
everything's just full of wood in molded crap, just wedged tightly in that area,
There goes my phone.
precariously balanced.
Precariously balanced. Hey.
It's an Ebenezer of garbage.
Let's just keep moving. I'd prefer not to
Yep.
disturb him.
We'll make our way up.
I tell him to keep going straight.
Straight this way.
Yep, that way.
Revealing areas. So Aga, as you're passing the precariously balanced area, you're just like as you're passing it and it's leaving your vision, you think you see an eyeball peering through the cracks.
Of the homeless man's place.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to take note of that and wait until we get like out of earshot of where he would be, and then whisper that to the rest of the peeps. Be like, we're being watched.
Do the rest of us see it?
Nope.
Alright.
But it's like a faint, like, not exactly sure if it was there.
Right.
Like
but
you
I'm
see
gonna
it and then you kind of like double take back at it and there was nothing there.
Right. But thinking that we were already gonna be watched, or ambushed, I'm yeah. I am on alert.
Alright, once we get to this next large room, we go straight through.
Okay, large room. I'm gonna do a good perception before I actually enter into the room just to get a sense of stuff.
Before.
Hey,
Eee.
finally good room.
Noise.
This is one of the areas that she had drawn the swirlies on, I believe. And this is water that's obviously draining. And you could hear like a louder version of this coming from further on.
Okay. I look at Skippy and I ask for a shell.
Skippy hands over his bits of shell.
I'm gonna chuck one into the water and see until we like lose sight of it. It's like a wishing well.
It swirls and it goes down and is gone pretty quickly.
Okay.
Oh.
And like in trying to track as it goes through, I wasn't successful.
Track? I'm not exactly following.
So obviously I know we're in a sewer, but
Yes.
knowing that they might have laid like booby traps,
Oh.
my thought was to throw a piece of a glowing shell in there and see like when it goes in there if it sets anything off or something like that, or if it just looked like a normal drainage.
It looked like a normal drain. Like
Okay.
the light petered out and went away.
Okay. All right, that works. Then Xanroar, which way did you say we go?
Straightforward.
Straightforward. So straightforward. Onward march. And okay, at this point we Aga's gonna ready the axe at this point. We've been going through here without any stuff happening. Aga doesn't trust it. So he's gonna ready his axe, kind of at like a low ready.
Hello?
Skippy.
I thought I saw friends out there.
Is that coming from up there?
Yep.
He's got those little nubs.
Yeah, they're like bars that are
Okay.
down over the area.
Sorry, we're not interested in any tea today.
You've heard about my tea? Well, that's new.
No.
Are you sure? It'll help you relax a little.
Skippy is. Oh no.
Ugh.
Skippy's going to until we decide we're gonna move on. Come to this corner and minor illusion like a box around him.
Okay, solid snake.
Yep.
Yes, we're sure. We've got important business we need to take care of.
That's too bad. Well, you know where I am if you come down this way again.
We'll probably be coming back up this way, so we'll stop in as we return. How's that sound?
That's fine. I'll make sure I have treats ready.
I'm going to nudge Xanroar and be like, what if he can help direct us if we promise to come back?
We already have a map to get down there. We don't need any more deals.
Right, we have a map from a girl that doesn't know how to read or write.
We were also warned that he does have a deal with them.
Right, I understand that. Okay.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of like a really long shot. Prestidigitation. I don't even know
Mm-hmm.
if it can clean an object, right?
Yes.
So if I were to go and use it on the tea, would it not do nefarious deeds to me, or is that something else?
That would be like purify food and water sort of
Oh, okay.
situation.
All right.
Like if you think something's poison, that's what would help it. Like the
Okay.
most like prestidigitation could do is change how it tastes.
Well, at least it can taste like something raw. Skippy's gonna hop out of his box and go back to Xanroar.
Let us
Okay.
continue.
Yep. So yeah, we'll just ignore him.
Like a really pale hand reaches out through the bars and just waves daintily.
I give him a polite wave and a nod back.
Nope.
That-
That's a Snope moment when someone says grab my strong hand. That's a Snope moment and a half.
I direct Aga to turn down this way to follow the water. Or
Zara,
sewage, I
or
guess.
Skippy is still on oh,
Okay,
Xanroar. Oh, okay. I'll go back. I'll go back.
okay, you move.
Skippy is still on Xanroar's shoulder, and Zara is still sneakfully crawling along the ceiling.
Why do we have to follow the water?
Because that's the way we have
You
to
do
go.
hit another wall that was not on Anitra's map, but this wall looks hastily made and recent compared to the others. Like it's not as gross.
Can Skippy investigate this wall?
Sure.
So basically, Skippy is really hoping that it's an illusion, because he's all about illusions.